the new concept of functions. So we have something in math called function notation. And function notation looks like this. And what this means, the way we say it, is f of x. Or in other words, it's a function of x. We know that when we have an input in an equation, we have x, and we know that our output is y. And we know that our y, our output, depends upon x. So what we have here is a function of x, meaning my output depends upon what I put in as my input. So function notation, back to this, is a really fancy way of saying y equals. So for example, we could have y equals 2x plus 3, and I could write that as f of x equals 2x plus 3. My output of y depends upon x of what I put in. This y and this f of x essentially mean the same thing. It's just a fancy way of writing it. So there's two ways to help you understand what is a function and what is not a function. So one of the ways to think about this are bus stops. So we can have person 1, person 2, and person 3, and we can have bus stop 4, bus stop 5, and bus stop 6. So in life, person 1 could get off at bus stop 4, person 2 could get off at bus stop 5, and person 3 could also get off at bus stop 5. That is a function. So I have x values that match y values. Okay. Similarly, if I have person 1, person 2, and person 3, and bus stop 4, bus stop 5, and bus stop 6, person 1 could get off at number 4, person 2 could get off at 5, and person 3 could get off at 5 or 6. This is not a function. If you think about life, it's impossible for a person to get off at 2 different bus stops. So in other words here, every x value has its own y value over here. Over here, every x value does not have its own y value because x has 2 y values, which is not allowed. Another way of thinking about this is birthdays. So if we think about person 1, person 2, and person 3, and let's say we think about the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th, okay, we can have person 1 have a birthday on the 28th, person 2 have a birthday on the 29th, and person 3 have a birthday on the 29th. Fun fact, my birthday is April 29th. So this works because we can have 2 people have the same birthday, right? You might have a friend that has the same birthday as you, or their twins would have the same birthday. If we think about this in a way that does not work, we would have person 1 have birthday on the 28th, person 2 have a birthday on the 28th and the 29th, and person 3 have a birthday on the 30th. It's not possible for person number 2 to have 2 different birthdays. So what we can do here is we can evaluate functions. Remember, this f of x equals 3x plus 2 is just like me saying y equals 3x plus 2. Okay? So right here, what we have is f of 5 equals what? So what this is asking you to do is it's asking you to take the number 5 and to plug it in for x. So I'm going to have f of 5 equals 3 times 5 plus 2. So this is 15 plus 2, so my answer is 17. Okay? Here, this is saying, okay, well, what about f of negative 1? Instead of me plugging in 5, I'm plugging in negative 1 now for x. So I would say 3 times negative 1 plus 2. So I would have negative 3 plus 2. So my answer here is also negative 1. Okay? So you may remember function machines, okay, when you were younger, okay? And let's say this function machine is 3x plus 2. And this is the f machine because we have f of x, okay? Over here in the blue, I'm putting into it the number 5, and the number I got out was 17. In the green, the number I put into it was negative 1, and the number I got out was also negative 1. Okay? So sometimes you might be given more than one function, and you have to figure out which one to use. So f of 7, f is my blue function, so I'm going to plug in 7 for x. 2 times 7 minus 3, so 14 minus 3, so my answer is 11. G of 10, G is the red function, so I'm going to plug in 10 in the red. So I have negative 1/2 times 10 plus 8, so I have negative 5 plus 8, so my answer is positive 3. Okay. This last one here is a bit of a preview of what we'll also talk about tomorrow. Remember, x is my input and the answer is my output. So what I've done here is actually given you the answer, and I want to know what x is. So in this situation, we're going to take our f of x function, which is 2x minus 3, and say, well, now the answer is 7. I want to go solve it so that I can figure out what x is. So it's a little bit like going backwards, like I've given you y, and you have to solve for x. So here the answer is x equals 10. So I know that was quite a bit of information, but if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll continue to practice this in class tomorrow.